Hello everybody, GZTV back with another video. This is the first of two videos. By the way, I think I'm done with Far Cry because Madden's out, so I'm going to be playing that all day, and I think I might be streaming with Logan when he gets off school. So we might be playing some like Rumbleverse. I'm probably going to ask him if he wants to try that out, because I heard it's a pretty fun game. We might have to hop on that Rumbleverse action, you know. Let's see here. Okay, we're going to get into the plot, and then we're going to get into the critical reviews, and then what I have to say about the episode itself. Yeah. So Sheriff Deputy Rick Grimes is able to escape the tank in the swarm of walkers with help from Glenn Rhee, played by Steven Yeun. I knew that's who played him. He was in, Nope, correct? Is that right? That's actually fire. I knew that guy looked familiar when I was watching the movie. I was like, oh, it's fucking Glenn from Walking Dead. Leading to the safety of a department store. I'm sorry about my dog. Dude, come on. Leading them to a safety of a department store. Rick meets the other members of Glenn's scavenging group, including Merle Dixon, played by Michael Rooker, a virulent racist, and T-Dog, played by Irony Singleton, a black man dismayed by Merle's attitude. So we meet a bunch of new characters in this episode. I think it's a really good touch. We figure out where these guys kind of came from. What is on my fucking drawstring? It's like water. When Merle attempts to beat up T-Dog and assert control, Rick subdues him and handcuffs him to a pipe on the store's roof. So Rick here is kind of... Can my family stop, please? Oh my god. Handcuffs him to a pipe on the store's roof, so, you know, Rick kind of asserting his dominance as kind of the leader of the group. Glenn makes contact with the survivors camp outside the city, where, unknown to Rick, his friend Shane Walsh and his wife Lori, played by Sarah Wayne Collins, and his son, played by Chandler Riggs, are safe. Shane and Lori still believe Rick is dead and have begun a sexual relationship. I think that's kind of what happened in the pre-credits, pre-intro, theme song scene, if you will. And the wedding ring kind of being put to the side, and the cinematography kind of putting emphasis on that was kind of a cool touch, and it like represented her separation from Rick completely and her forgetfulness. I don't know. I mean, in a zombie apocalypse, and the way her husband could have possibly died, which obviously we know that they're both alive right now. I don't know. She seems kind of hypocritical, like Rick was talking about, how she said he doesn't even care about his family, yet here she is cheating on him literally a day after the apocalypse started, and like he's still chasing after her and Carl, and like he's very determined, while she just kind of gave up on his cause, and she's having sex with his friend, his police buddy. Oh man. So as walkers swarm the building, the group finds its escape route through the sewer cutoff, which Jackie, who's not really that big of a character, but she like knows about buildings and like industrial shit and like the sewers and stuff, and she kind of leads the group into the sewers. Not every episode, by the way, is gonna have like a super long breakdown episode. This episode was a really good episode, and it had like a really big role in the series. You know, Rick meeting his people pretty much. We thought he met his people in the first episode with the dad and the son, Dwayne and Morgan, I think was his name. But no, this is really his people. I mean, they're in big groups, and we kind of figure out something. So Jackie's like, I've worked in industrial buildings. I know that the sewer's usually in the basement, so they go in the basement. Glenn kind of wants to take authority, and he kind of does to an extent. And their plans of getting out is pretty damn cool. It's kind of badass, and it's also very risky. Rick spots a box truck nearby that they could use to escape. Get all the people loaded in the back. Rick and Glenn cover themselves in the blood and viscera of a dispatched walker to mask their scent from other walkers as they walk through the horde. So they realize that not only, like in the first episode, we learned that these walkers are attracted by sound. Not only that, they're also attracted by scent. So, yeah. I'm really happy I'm rewatching this show, because there are definitely some aspects that aren't that good about the show, and definitely cliche, but there's also aspects of this show that I'm like, damn, I'm really happy I'm rewatching this. There's some cool moments on this show, I think. It's a very overhyped show, and I will probably say that till the day I die, but it's still awesome to have something to do and kind of have something to rewatch. Let's see. It soon starts to rain, washing away the walker scent, and Rick and Glenn make a break for the truck. They realize, okay, our cover's kind of blown. We kind of need to find an escape route. Glenn uses the car alarm on a Dodge Challenger to draw the walkers away, while Rick drives the box truck to the department store's cargo doors. So they kind of watch, the group kind of watches from afar, and they're like, oh my god, are these people leaving us? And then, Rick pulls up with the box truck to pick people up. In the rush to escape, T-Dog accidentally drops the handcuff key for Murley down a storm drain, and they are forced to abandon him. However, T-Dog secures the roof access door with a heavy chain to give Murley some protection. So, yeah, Murley gets kind of some karma. This was one of the crazier moments in the early episodes of The Walking Dead. I knew this happened. I remember a guy being handcuffed to the roof and being left there. Maybe they will show what happens to him. I don't remember if they really showed what happened to him later on in the series. Maybe a couple episodes down the line we see what his fate is, and they locked the door. I saw this as like him locking him upstairs. I didn't really see it as him getting some protection. I guess Murley's just gonna have to be a roof vigil for the rest of his life. We will have to see what happens to him. There are definitely some things I forgot about this series, and that is one of them. I don't remember what happened to him. The remaining group travel with Rick back to the survivors camp, with Glenn following close behind. So we kind of figure out that this is the group. This is part of the group that was on the radio. They're the only survivors nearby with a radio signal and stuff like that. I mean, there could be more survivors. We don't know. But yeah, they're kind of a part of the Carl group. Rick's wife. What's his name? Dale. Dixon, I think was his name. I don't know if Dixon's actually a part of this group yet. I know Dixon's like a really big character in the show, but I don't know if he's a part of this group in particular. The AV Club gave it a B-. It was a step down in quality from the pilot. It had many good qualities, and the show still looks fantastic, and the choice to use 16mm film pays off time after time, giving everything a stark, bright quality that fits the mood perfectly. I do like the filter that these episodes are shot in. That's something that's actually like very slept on about this series, is the camera filter. It really adds this vintage touch. The concept of a zombie apocalypse has been around in pop culture for quite some time, and The Walking Dead, I feel like they kind of paid homage to that whole trope of like, oh my god, there's a virus around, and if you get bit, you become a zombie. I mean, I think they definitely have some unique touches on it, but they have to pay some homage. They have to kind of fit in with the genre. I think this is a step down from the pilot, but there are definitely some things in the plot that definitely help this episode prosper a little bit. Him meeting these other survivors was definitely a big thing in the story, and it's really going to open up for a bunch of storylines. The more characters, you're introduced to in a series, the better it's going to get. The more action, the more drama, the more different things you can focus on in any given episode. 7 out of 10 on IGN. It is a weaker episode than the pilot, I will admit. It's going to be hard to beat out a pilot a lot of the time. The introduction of Murley was disliked by a lot of people. I mean, he's seen as a ridiculous character. I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe you're racist yourself if you're criticizing his character, because there are a lot of people like that in the world, The sequence in which Rick and Glenn cover themselves in guts to disguise them from the zombies was definitely a loved scene from this episode. Overall, this episode had its fun moments, feeling more like an adrenaline-filled, straight-up horror movie than the more slow-paced pilots, but it also lacked the pilot's emotion and depth. Sure, it was maybe a little bit for some shock value. They put some stuff in the story where it's like, oh my god, they're gonna love this. They're not gonna feel any emotion, but they're gonna love this. I don't really have much to say. I mean, Murley's character's not ridiculous. I mean, it is kind of stereotypical, but there's real people out there like that. I'm telling you. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. As always, it has been GZTV, giving you guys the best reviews to the best TV shows out there. We are rewatching The Walking Dead. We will get through this whole series. Trust me, I am very determined. We got Better Call Saul up next. So, yeah, stay tuned on the channel for Twitch. GZTV Live on Twitch.